Well, look, I think this is a historic visit. We are hoping to be able to reset the relations. I'm sure you're quite aware that it has not been that good. And hopefully we can discuss. I think traditionally with the US, we've always had very good relations, even during the times of our struggle for freedom. And so we are hopeful that that kind of traditional historical relations will continue. And I am hopeful because you see what you have is the two leaders are practical people who would want to take into account what is on the ground and what is in the interest and benefit of the two countries. So I am sure we most likely are going to emerge with a good result.
As you said, both are practical, and President Ramaphosa is there to reset relations. But this visit comes amid escalating tensions. We are aware of that. Just days before his arrival, the US offered refugee status to some white Afrikaners, and President Trump claims, I'm quoting him, they're victims of a genocide. So how does the South African government interpret these claims?
Well, I think this is the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of the meeting is even to make these positions clear, because clearly this is based on not proper information. There isn't any genocide in South Africa, as you know. Those refugees really aren't refugees because there isn't anybody persecuting people in South Africa.
And we have heard voices from both sides, and some have come to the press arguing they are persecuted, and President Ramaphosa have said that they are cowards, in his words. Do you think this could undercut President Ramaphosa's diplomatic agenda this time?
Well, I think South Africa would talk to the truth, and the truth is genuinely those people are not refugees. And I think that's the point the president is making, that we don't understand why they are going up out there and claiming to be refugees. And so the president would stick to that there aren't genocide happening in South Africa. These people are not refugees, and there isn't any intention to have genocide in South Africa.
And I think African Growth and Opportunity Act will also be on the agenda. We know South Africa is one of the biggest beneficiaries of the Act. South Africa is exporting about $2.7 billion every year to the United States. And what do you think will happen to this Act after it expires?
It has been a tool, a vehicle for developing countries to access the economy in America. I am hoping that these meetings that we have will address such issues. Our ability to continue to be in AGOA, to continue to trade in the manner we are trading with America, taking into account our situation. But of course, I think South Africa will always be ready to listen. The tariffs that President Trump is imposing is because he would want a win-win situation. And so in that situation we would be. I can tell you that we continue to hope to be in AGOA, and we would make the argument that we should continue to be there.
We're looking at 40% cumulative tariff on South Africa. Are we expecting a deal?
Well, look, those tariffs, first let me say those tariffs are going to affect South Africa to some extent. We export cars, we export minerals, critical minerals, platinum and other minerals. I think about 12 of the rare earth critical minerals supplying America comes from South Africa also. We will be affected in the area of agriculture and so on. They would affect America as well. If I talk about critical minerals, the rare earth, which are very important for your cell phone, for everything, cars and electric, which are important in the transition to greener energy. You can imagine that the Americans would also want to continue benefiting what they are receiving from South Africa. So indeed, we will suffer. depending on the discussions and the negotiations we have, I think there will be, in the long run, from both sides, a recognition that this relationship is vital as it links Africa to America, to the world. It is vital because it's a relationship that has been there all along.
South Africa will be hosting G20 this year, and President Trump has banned US agencies from participating in the preparations for the summit. Is South Africa concerned about the absence of the United States? And also, do you think President Ramaphosa will be able to persuade Donald Trump to come over to South Africa for G20 this year?
Well, it will be difficult for me to, I think it would not be wise also to try and predict what's going to happen in the meeting. And I'm sure the wise thing is for us, all of us, to give opportunity to the two leaders to sit and discuss these issues and hopefully to have an outcome that is satisfactory for all, not just South Africa, but for the international relations in general. And so it would be difficult for me to predict what is going to be the outcome of that meeting. All we can say is we hope for the best. We hope that we would be able to have the G20 continuing uninterrupted.